Hello, everyone. This is Liam from Liam's Lyceum, and I'm doing a casual weekly update for you as I'm actually just going to be kind of working in the background as I talk to you guys. I did not do one of these last week. I was actually, I had pretty much read nothing for 1 week. Work was being really weird that week, and I was behind on my reading. But this last week, I actually didn't work. My job. I don't really want to talk about it, but who's ever in charge is not very competent, just to put it bluntly. And so I didn't have any work this week. They just told me not to come in, which is pretty messed up, in my opinion. I had to use all my vacation hours um, since I will be gone next week, which I was already using some of my vacation hours. But I'll be at LTE next week. Actually, there's a good chance I will not be doing a weekly update next week. As I'll be in Utah on Saturday when I record them. There's always a part of me that feels like, oh, I should just record something while I'm there. And I've recorded very little so I've recorded some, but very little of like conventions and whatnot I go to. But I don't feel like a content creator. It really doesn't feel like my thing at all. Just to go there and record people. I'm like not comfortable with that. I don't want to come off as high and mighty, but I kind of have this sense of I want to be educational in a sense. I don't want to just create content, whatever that means. And so I want this sense that it's worthwhile and also that I could share it for, something like a CV. Maybe more strictly some of my other stuff. Like I did come out with a lecture this week, and on Sunday I did come out with my last Old English reading that is on the Alfred Homily Project page. I'll try to link that below. But I am proud of this last one. In fact, this last one, it reminded me of reading fantasy, right? Where sometimes you'll have this. I really like the sense of like ancient history when you read fantasy, whether it's explored much or not. I just like the sense of it, and it was fun, because in this last lecture, I spent just 15 minutes of the lecture. I was going over the homily, but there is a manuscript that has this homily that you can find online. The manuscript itself is old, right? It's from the 12th century, and like you have to learn somewhat of a different language to read it. It is English. It's like early Middle English kind of, or it's really similar to like Old English, but technically Middle English. The homily itself was originally written in Old English. It was fun to compare them. It's fun to see like scribal abbreviations and stuff like that. And I kind of feel like I'm in a fantasy book when I read stuff like that, right? But there's no practical purpose, when it's not actually applied. So I think it's more interesting than just reading fantasy books to actually go and do that stuff. It's really fun. It feels very much worth it. Right. So if you're interested in language stuff, go check that out. I did get some good reading in though this week, sadly in some sense. But the books I finished, I don't know where. Let's see. I have two of the books I finished right here. I finished *A Spectre is Haunting Texas* by Fritz Leiber. Definitely not my favorite by him. It's a little wacko. Very much satire. It makes. I've heard people say that saw one review say it doesn't work if satire only works if you punch up, and it doesn't work if you mock everyone equally. And I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, maybe, but like, it's kind of gonzo, and it's interesting. So it's about a guy coming from the moon and kind of starting a rebellion, but most of the world, or at least most of North America, is ruled by Texas after World War III, pretty much. So. It is an interesting one. Not my favorite Leiber, but definitely not bad. I also read or finished *Crypt of the Shadow King*, if my camera focused, by Mark Anthony. I think I've read something by him before, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I feel like I have, though. Could be wrong on that. He's written some forgotten novels. Wasn't bad. It was first in a 2-part series. There's a sequel that actually started, which is right here, which is, no, not that one. The next one right here. I haven't pulled it off the shelf yet. Okay. *Curse of the Shadow Mage*. And they're not bad books. Not super noteworthy, but, Forgotten Realms books. I can appreciate them. I did do translation in the Hellion and a little bit of the Enunciation, but very, very little. The other two books I finished were Use of Weapons by Ian Banks. I lost a little bit of steam on this one. I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. I really enjoyed the first half of it, though. It did stay entertaining, though. It feels more literary than the first two. Also, I finished Too Like the Lightning by Ada Palmer. I didn't actually enjoy this one all that much. It was fine, just wasn't really that noteworthy. I found. Um, I think it's one thing to be a good stylist. It's another thing to make me care, I guess. And that's what a lot of complaints actually I see about Leiber often is that he definitely is a good stylist, but a lot of people don't seem to care about his stuff. And that's kind of how I feel about Palmer's book. I would like to continue the series, but it's definitely not a high priority. Well, that's my baby. He is trying to go to sleep right now. I also am really close to finishing 23 Years on Fire by Joel Shepard. The Glass Prison, and got about 100 pages left. I don't know where I put that. By David Cook, I think. And then we have Soldier's Vice. Did I show this one already? I can't remember. This is by David Cook. Maybe the other one's by Monk. I don't remember. I'm really close to finishing this one, another Forgotten Realms novel. I did start Heart of the Mountain by Larry Correia. I'm about halfway through that. And also, I read one short story in Dragon Magazine. It's a tie into the Cormier trilogy, which I actually read about a year ago, but it's fun. And then that's pretty much it. I did start listening to kind of a serialized audio book on YouTube called Arkenvale. It's produced by a guy that used to be the DM for a actual play podcast I used to listen to back in like 2019 or so, 2018, called the Cantrip Cast. I also did start listening to another actual play podcast, an actual play podcast. I haven't listened to one since about 2020, and I wasn't super active in the ones I was listening to then either. I used to listen to more when I first got into D&D. Dropped out of the habit after I got married and got more busy, but it's called Stone's Throw, Cities Beneath. The big one, the one I watched the most of was Dice Camera Action, and Stone's Throw, Cities Beneath has two of those players in it, same players from Dice Camera Action. It's just been 8 years now or so. So, anyways, but that's it. I'll go check on my baby, and my wife is with him. Do not worry. But he's been really fussy actually at bedtime the past few days. So wish us luck there. Anyways, let me know what you've been reading, what you've been up to. I'll catch you next time.